All right, everyone, I am getting word from my tech team that we are ready to go. Coming up, Danejerus with Resident Evil Village. Take it away.
Wait, are we live right now? Hi, everybody. I'm back. You thought you got rid of me yesterday with that whole crowd control thing, but you couldn't keep me away. I came back to do another run for y'all. So we're going to be doing a run today of Resident Evil 8, which is also known as Resident Evil Village. This one is very closely intertwined with Resident Evil 7. So if you've played either one of those, if you played Resident Evil 7, you'll kind of see some similarities with this game. On the couch, I have got your illustrious host, Mr. Meta Live.
Hello. Yeah, so I ran this game around launch. I am nowhere near as good at it as Danejerus here is. And yeah, I'm super excited. I haven't seen the run pretty much since I was running. So we'll see how that goes.
It hasn't really changed.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
And also on the couch, we've got a voice that you may have heard a little bit ago from ThatGuyBlain.
Ah, I'm back! I psyched you out!
Didn't startle me at all.
Back, Blaine.
Yeah, sorry. I do have a little experience running this game. I'm not as good at it as Dane, but to be fair, I am better at Resident Evil 7 than him. I'm just putting it out, putting it out there.
He is
That's fighting words.
No, he's actually right on that. He is much better at a game than me that I haven't played before, because I've never played Resident Evil 7. So he is much better at the game than I am. One thing I do want to point out is we've got me doing a run with Meta and Blaine on the couch at an MDSR event. I don't think we've ever seen this before, actually. I think this is a world first, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe so.
Or like a world second, something like that. All right, we're going to get started with the run. So let me go ahead and go live here, just so y'all can see the run. And then time is going to start as soon as I skip this cutscene, and we are schmoving. So let's get this counted down in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so like all good speedruns, the very first thing we're going to do is put the baby to bed. All good speedruns start this way. We have to put the baby to bed, you know. Mario, you know, puts the baby to bed before he goes to the castle to rescue Peach. You know, Link has to put the baby in bed before he goes and saves Hyrule. You know, it's like a standard in like all the best speed runs. We have to put the baby to sleep. By the way,
Pretty sure the Slayer does that in one game or another.
Yeah, the Slayer puts the baby to bed as well. Now, luckily, pretty much every cutscene in this game is skippable, and that is very, very useful for the fact that some of these cutscenes are really long. Like this one right here that we're about to skip right here. That's like a 5-minute cutscene, and we can skip the whole thing. Thank God, because that would be terrible. So,
and a lot has happened.
Yeah, and a lot happened during that cutscene. Basically, Chris Redfield, an OG character from the Resident Evil franchise, blasted down the wall of your house and killed your wife. I will not elaborate further.
Feels bad, man.
So we're going to skip another cutscene here. Now, this is what we call Snow Walk. This is a very long section where there's not a lot happening. It's kind of a boring section of the run. It's what makes resets a little painful in this game. So while we're doing this, let's talk about the category that we're running, which is New Game Plus Glitchless. This is the most competitive category by a humongous margin for this game. New Game does not have nearly as many runners as New Game Plus, and there's far more people running Glitchless than are running any percent, as they like to call it. So, Meta, why don't you talk us through Glitchless versus any percent and why the distinction is made between those two categories?
Sure. So obviously there's those two different things. We have New Game and New Game Plus, and we have any percent and we have Glitchless. So the reason New Game Plus is more popular is because New Game, I believe, has a lot of RNG, if I recall, with like loot.
It boils down to combat really more than anything else.
Right.
The combat in New Game Plus is not really a factor because we have an infinite magnum, a rocket pistol, an infinite heavy assault rifle, and a grenade launcher. All of them have infinite ammo, by the way. So combat's kind of trivial in this category in New Game Plus, but in New Game, there's actually like combat is a kind of a highlighted element of the run.
The lightsaber by chance?
I got the lightsaber and I did a whole playthrough using only the lightsaber.
So yeah, fun fact, this game has a side mode called Mercenaries, and I forget exactly what you have to do, but basically you have to like get the best rankings in all the maps in Mercenaries.
Yep.
And you get a freaking lightsaber to use in New Game Plus. It's ridiculous. But it's also
fun. It is powerful. And it's a double-bladed lightsaber. It's a Darth Maul lightsaber.
Anyway, back to the initial discussion of rule sets. So yeah, New Game Plus, obviously we can be a lot more optimal with like infinite ammo and really powerful weapons. We just melt through everything, and that's fast, and we like fast.
Ooh, real quick, let's see if I can get cutscene skip here. So there's a little cutscene that's like 3 seconds long, but if you're really fast, you can get away with not watching it. Ah, dang it, I didn't get it.
Oh, that's too bad.
You have to whip Ethan around like super hard, and you have to be moving
really
like on frame 1. And I got it once ever.
Me too, I think.
And I would have loved to have gotten it during the marathon, but no such luck. Anyways, going back to the rules discussion. New Game, New Game Plus.
So yeah, New Game Plus optimized. As for any percent versus glitchless, I think glitchless is more popular just because that's sort of the origin of Resident Evil games. That community at its core tends to prefer glitchless. But that said, any percent has tech called pipe bomb clipping, which is actually very cool. I'm a big fan of it, but it's also kind of difficult.
Yeah, it's very tough.
And depending on who you talk to, it's random. I don't actually think it's random. It's just very precise.
It's very precise, yeah.
Yeah. But basically you line yourself up in like in a doorway or something so that you're pinched in a small space, and then the knockback of the pipe bomb can clip you out of bounds, and we use that in any percent like 2 or 3 times. But we'll be running glitchless today, which is a lot more focused on movement and menuing. The reason you saw Danejerus there running with the menu repeatedly is to buffer a checkpoint so that we can load the checkpoint and save some in-game time.
Yeah, the timer pauses during when the game is paused. The live split timer has been programmed to pause during that time, so you're not losing any time by doing that. In fact, you're only gaining time because checkpoint buffers like that move you forward in some cases. In some cases, they move you backward. Sometimes the amount that moves you forward is so negligible as to almost be indiscernible. And I'm not going to do that for every single checkpoint load, but I'm going to do it for a couple of them just to kind of show off how it's used in the run, because I want to be true to RTA, but I do want to show the route, how it's done at least a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah. So this
is another like rather large cutscene that we're going to skip.
Yeah, this is a long cutscene, and that guy shoots us at point blank range, but he misses because he has aim equivalent to my aim, actually.
He must have a stormtrooper helmet like laying in that closet somewhere.
Yeah. So this is the main enemy of the game, the Lycan. We're gonna go right around him. And we just got a classic Resident Evil item, bolt cutters.
I bet you're gonna use these a lot in this run, the bolt cutters.
Yes, we're gonna use them exactly one time. we use them there. That's it. That's the only time we use them.
So there's the Magnum, classic Resident Evil. It's very, very good.
So we have to come up here. Yeah,
one shot anything.
Most everything. There's a couple bigger enemies that do need to. Oh, I missed because, like I said, my aim is bad.
That's an ouchie. I believe, actually, are you on an auto scroller here? Not yet, right?
The auto scroller starts as soon as I proc the yelling from the Lycans that are outside. So it's coming up in just a second. Now I want to try to trigger these Lycans as quickly as I can, so I'm going to.
By the way, this section is like ridiculously hard on new game, basically on any difficulty. Like if you're on anything other than the easiest difficulty, this quote-unquote auto scroller section is actually very difficult. And on Village of Shadows, the hardest difficulty, I would think that this is probably like one of the harder sections of the entire run,
which is
impossible. Yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah, so for a long time, like at launch, we thought that this section was frame rate dependent. So what we would do is we'd come over here and we'd stare at this fence just to try to squeeze a few more frames out, thinking, oh, if we can get a few more frames out, that'll speed things up. But nope, it's entirely on the timer. So we just literally have to sit here and just wait it out because there's nothing else we can do. But the idea behind this section is it's supposed to be like a survival section. You're not expected to kill all these lichens. You're just expected to be able to survive and run around. Like there's a couple buildings up there you're supposed to run into and hide behind. This game in RE7 really went back to the whatchamacallit, the survival horror aspect of the franchise, which was a very far cry from Resident Evil 6, which, as we all know, is one of the best action shooters made in 2012 in the Resident Evil franchise.
Evil has had some ups and downs.
Hey, Resident Evil 6, as a game, is not that bad. As a Resident Evil game, it doesn't fit the franchise at all, but everything is better than Operation Raccoon City.
True.
By the way, the flaming arrows right here, these can't hit you. They actually can't hit you. So like they're gonna land very close to you, and you're gonna, oh my god, an arrow hit me, and it's like they actually can't hit you.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're programmed to not hit you. So like I can literally try to run into one of them, and it won't hit me. It's kind of funny. It's meant to just kind of startle you a little bit. So
this auto scroller section is like what, 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes?
It's I think closer to 4 actually.
Yeah, 4 sounds about right.
Okay, that's not part of the auto scroller. That guy just got the drop on me.
Where did he come from? There's a fence to your right.
I'll show you where he came from. So we were waiting for this guy to come in. Now remember this guy. We're gonna fight his brother a little later on in the run.
Yeah, and in New Game, I think it's actually impossible to kill that guy, but in New Game Plus, it just melted really quick.
So he actually came up from up there, and yeah, some of them hop over like that. Now,
sneaky little guy.
There's this roundabout path there, but you could when Urias' brother comes in, that pathway is opened up because I guess he can somehow open that pathway from where he is. Strangely enough. But
Well,
yeah,
I might be speaking out of turn here, but I think the Magnum that we use is you can't get it in game. You have to beat the game and then unlock it through their point system or whatever it is.
Correct.
And it is also more powerful than anything you can get in a new game run.
Yes. It is the strongest weapon in the game by not even a small margin. It's actually like a humongous delta between the next strongest weapon and the stake. The stake is stupidly powerful. There
is a new game Magnum because there has to be basically, otherwise Resident Evil fans would. And
it's good,
but it's good, but it's not this good.
It's not the stake. There's a good Magnum, and then there's the stake. The stake is dummy powerful. I think it does something like 5,000 damage per hit, and then like the other one does like 800.
Did you say the stake is well done?
Oh, dang! You used to be an adventurer like me, right?
Yeah, but then I took an arrow in the knee. All right, we're gonna skip the rest of this cutscene. But yes, the stake is well done. The stake is very well done. So at this point, we've finished the auto scroller section, and we are now going to go to the first puzzle of the game. And it's not really a puzzle exactly, but it kind of is. You have to get pieces and install them correctly. So we're running it now. I'm trying to be very careful with my inputs here. Oh, by the way, this is the rocket pistol. It has explosive damage. Somehow I missed the fence despite it didn't. I told you my game was bad. We want to be very clear about this. I don't know how I missed the fence just now.
It sounds like a squirt gun, but it blows up.
Yeah, so. It blows up. And it doesn't do as much damage as the stake does, believe it or not. The stake is still more powerful than the rocket pistol, despite there being explosive damage on this thing. So we're coming in here. Now, this is where we learn about kind of what's happening in the village, why things are going the way that they are. We're stuck in this room for a minute, so while we're waiting, let's do a little tributary thing here. MDSR. You can't read it, but I did my best. That's a little running thing in my chat is whoever like said the last thing in chat, I write their name on the board, on the wall, in bullets. Yeah. So this is another extremely long cutscene that we can luckily skip. Now we're going to trigger this
And once again, a
cutscene.
lot happened.
Yeah, a lot happened during that cutscene. We skipped that cutscene as well. Now this is where we're going to get into one of my favorite little bits of tech, which is pause buffering these. Whoops! Shoot! There we go. Is pause buffering these drawers, so you can open drawers and then pause the game, and the hitbox collision will actually continue through the pause, and that lets you forego having to wait for the drawer to open. And like I said, the timer pauses when you're on a pause screen, so you save a couple seconds here and there doing that, and it's very useful. Now that woman that we were just following, she's dead. That happened in that cutscene. A lot's happened. We're skipping a lot of content by skipping all these cutscenes.
Yeah, if I remember the story, which I probably don't, basically there's I'll call it an infection just because I don't want to spoil later stuff.
Yeah.
It's an infection that's going around the village, and it's making people go crazy, basically. And so that house that we just went into was like some of the remaining survivors of the village after some stuff went down, and everyone in the village is mostly dead. And it turns out one of the people in that house was infected, and all hell broke loose, and then the house got set on fire. And the one person that had survived with you got like put into a trance and fell into the fire because she thought that her dad was in the fire or something like that.
So this is
also,
one of these.
this crest is like random.
Yeah, so this is Crest RNG, and I actually got bad RNG on both crests, so you got to see the bad version of this for both of them. But yeah, the initial placement of the crest, like what direction it's turned to, entirely random. You could get a great day where it's oriented exactly where you want, and then others like this, it's not, and yeah, it's very frustrating. And I can literally lose 3 seconds just on Crest RNG alone. So this is another very, very long cutscene where you meet all the villains of the game. We're skipping all that. And now we're doing a run where our hands are tied right now, as you can see. We're literally just, like you said, running for our lives.
Yeah, so we get kidnapped by one of the villains. I don't know if we get introduced to their name or not, so I won't spoil that either. But yeah, basically all the villains kidnapped us and put us in this like a gauntlet thing so that we need to run through. So we just need to get through and survive right now.
But fun fact, none of the Lycans that are like behind windows or through doors, none of them can hurt you. The only ones that can actually hurt you are the ones that are like actually free and open, but we're so much faster than them because we know exactly where to go. Also, this would kill us, and it did in my casual playthrough initially. It took me a minute to realize, oh, you have to hide into this back corner so you don't die.
Also, makes perfect sense that this just, grinds the chain instead of just dragging you with you, or dragging you with it.
Now, when he said fresh American ground beef, we got to point out this doesn't happen in America.
This does not happen in America, no.
I forget where it happens. And I wish I
Slovenia.
hadn't brought it up now.
I believe this takes place. I don't think it's actually confirmed officially, but the rumor is that it's supposed to be Romania.
Well, it's Slovenia is what they say, but it's somewhere around Romania. Yeah, it's like somewhere in Eastern Europe, and I forget exactly what the lore reason is why you're here, because at home when you start the game and you put Rose to bed, you're in America. So I forget exactly how you get it. You're kidnapped, I think, is what it is, and you're brought to Romania or Slovenia.
To a village, if you will.
Yeah, to a village.
To a village.
So this is the Duke.
Hi, Duke.
I've been waiting for you, Mr. Winters.
So yeah, the Duke is some like mysterious being. Looks human, is definitely not human. Can be in many places at one time.
Well, I mean, he is human, but he's very mysterious. I mean, there's not a lot of things mentioned about him. He takes the place of the merchant from RE4. And I swear, the day that I realized that he was actually the merchant, I almost screamed.
Yeah, so for instance, in the room to our left here, which we aren't going to enter, the Duke is there as well. So within a span of 10 to 15 seconds of walking, the Duke is in 2 different places.
But yeah, the
Also,
funny,
owie.
yeah, the funny thing about the Duke's involvement in the game. So if you played RE4, this game has a lot of parallels to RE4. In fact, a lot of people said this was RE4 meets RE7, and they're fused together. There's a lot of parallels here.
Pretty much.
And one of the things that I kind of realized very early on is, like, if you played RE4, the merchant in RE4 is not really part of the story. He's just sort of a MacGuffin for you to be able to purchase, you know, ammo and guns and whatnot. Whereas the Duke in this game actually plays a role in the story. He actually fits into the storyline of the game, which is something that they didn't do with the merchant. So I feel like they incorporated him in a much better way in this game compared to RE4.
Yep. As like a newbie to the Resident Evil franchise, like literally I had played 7, but I didn't finish it because I'm a giant wimp. Resident Evil Village is like so good. It got me into the Resident Evil franchise.
7's better. Yeah, I said it.
I think that's a valid opinion.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people hold that, so I don't.
I think
I'm probably the outlier, but
I think 7 and Village is a very Coke or Pepsi thing. Like, you either like Coke or Pepsi. There's not really a better one. And like,
Yeah.
I feel like you either like 7 or Village.
Well, I know a lot of people that like both games because they go so closely together. I mean, what I've heard people say is that RE8 made RE7 a better game because it clarified a lot of things about the story and it like made some things better known. Oh, interesting. We skipped her voice line. That happens sometimes. She's very violent. She's one of the vampire sisters. I'm gonna do another pause buffer here.
yeah, I think this was probably where I started to get really scared during my casual playthrough, because during that section you're getting chased by one of the they're the
vampire
witch
sisters.
The witch vampires.
Well, they're vampires. Oh yeah.
What's this? Is this scuba diving? Like scuba?
Scuba? Yeah.
Scuba?
Oh,
Scuba.
wrong button. I meant to hit. I fat fingered my
Lady Dimitrescu. Yeah.
Meta. Alright, so we do another pause buffer here because that door opening animation takes a little while, but as soon as you hit both torches, a checkpoint triggers and you can just run straight through here. Now these are, I forget exactly what they're called, but they are going to be like the main enemy that we see in the castle.
They're basically zombies.
Yeah, they're more or less zombies. They're like, basically what it is like, you know, the lore reason for it is all the women in the village were captured and kidnapped. All the men were killed, but all the women were captured and kidnapped. So every enemy that we run into in this section of the run is actually female. Oh, by the way, that was a boss fight we just did just now.
Yeah, and that can on like new game Village of Shadows, just because that's like my only frame of reference. That takes like at least a minute of like constant shotgun shots.
Oh, it could be more than that. It can. I've seen that fight go 5 minutes sometimes, just because you're running away from her for so long.
But hey, this is New Game Plus, baby.
So what we did was we did that fight in order to get some blood wine, and we are now going to deposit the blood wine to get a key. There's a lot of puzzles in this section. This is actually probably the most puzzle-heavy section of the run. But yeah, it was called Sanguis Vanius or something like that, which literally directly translates to blood wine from Latin. So I did a pause buffer there to get the key while the chest was still closed. And now we're heading outside. By the way, I am 27 seconds behind PB right now.
It happens.
So I'm going to time this. If you don't time that shot properly, she will actually stagger you and cost you like 7 seconds. So I have to time that very carefully, because if I shoot too early, she's not going to have loaded in yet. If I hit too late, she'll hit me first. So it takes a little bit of practice. It's not a super tight level of timing, but you do have to be kind of mindful of it. So we've taken out one of the sisters. There's still 2 more that we have to mow through. And we're going to be reminded that I killed one of the sisters right now.
What have you done to my daughter?
I murdered her, ma'am.
This puzzle took me so long.
It took me a long time to do this puzzle, but we just finished
the
it.
hint doesn't even make sense.
I
Or it didn't to my
Gonna line this
brain
up.
anyway, but I think I got it by trial and error. And even after I figured it out, I was like, that still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not a real gamer. I just Googled it after getting frustrated.
Fair enough. I respect that. I do.
All right, so I'm going to get the rocket pistol out because I'm going to want to take some of these enemies out because not because they're like problematic or they're going to hurt me, but if I don't kill them quickly, they can actually block me and keep me from moving forward and cost me like sometimes upwards of like 7 seconds in a split if you just don't kill them at all. It does cost me rocket pistol ammo, so I do have to work in where to reload that because there's not really a good spot to reload any of it. Like I could try to do it right now. Oh, actually got both of them. Nice. So this is where we like really actually meet Lady Danejerus. I'm not going to say the thing that the rest of you are calling her.
Lady D.
What, Dommy Mommy?
No, Meta. Meta, down boy. So we're actually gonna have our first encounter with her coming up. I'm gonna try to time this.
Hey, Dan, do you want to hand off the controller to me?
Do I want to hand off the controller to you?
Yeah, or just hand off the controls for a second.
I could hand off the controller to you, but I think I will probably keep playing the game. I don't know. I mean, this is just a cutscene, so I can be very, hands off.
Yeah, very hands off.
Ew.
Whoa! Whoa! That is very hands off. All right.
Yeah,
So I'm going to run around this way to kind of debate here. You can do this a little faster by going right straight past her, but it's riskier, and I have not been having great luck with it lately.
Run straight towards Big Lady.
But if you play at RE2 Remake or RE3 Remake, then you'll kind of recognize this is a Mr. X / Tyrant, or not Tyrant, Nemesis type enemy structure. This big intimidating figure that can pretty much kill you anytime at once. But I'm actually unable to use my weapons right now because I don't have a hand I can use them with. Now there is a problem here. If I don't have my right hand to use my weapons with, then how am I going to be able to like shoot anything for the rest of the run? I mean that's a problem. I guess I could use this isopropylene alcohol to fix that.
But what about your jacket?
It's fine.
Oh, the jacket's fine. The jacket actually can be healed via ethylpropylene alcohol as well. Oh, by the way, that's not actually ethylpropylene alcohol. It's actually super glue, and that's how. By the way, this is biologically accurate to real life. This is exactly how it works. If you lose your hand, say like on like a butcher's knife or something like that, just isopropylene alcohol and stick it back on there, no problem.
Don't use Gatorade like I did.
Yeah, don't use Gatorade.
I thought it was Gatorade.
MDSR does not condone using alcohol to reattach limbs.
Thank you for the disclaimer. That came straight from our lawyer Bodo. All right, so this is the piano puzzle. I sometimes have trouble with the inputs on this, so give me a second. Luckily, they don't like make you start over if you screw it up. Thank goodness, or I would be losing 30 seconds here per run. But this gives us the Iron Insignia Key, which we're going to be using a ton. And in fact, we're going to be using it outside of this castle as well. It's not exclusive to just this area.
I remember when everybody was kind of sharing that puzzle solution in the beginning, and some people were like, yeah, it's C, E, F, F, C, D. And then other people were like, what about the rest of us that don't read music?
I don't know how to read music. That doesn't help me. So that was a boss fight. We just did the boss fight. Also, fun fact, if you played RE3 Remake, this is Danielle. Or sorry, this is Jill from RE3 Remake. Same voice actor. Oops.
Hi, Jill.
I'm sick of bugs too.
Pretty cool.
Bye, Jill.
Also, random, like, non-in-game fact, those flies specifically cause so much stuttering due to the, like, DRM of the game. You'll just, like, stutter every time that fly effect comes up. I think that's been fixed now, actually, but...
Wait.
Man, at the launch of the game, that effect was so ridiculous. Like, it was just...
They were debating letting
down.
a mod, like letting a no-fly mod into the speedrun. There was a debate
hit the chandelier.
about that.
All right, so we went and did the bell puzzle, which took me a second because I missed the chandelier somehow. And then that's going to create another long section where we have to wait for the painting to open. So in the meantime, we're going to come over here and do another boss fight.
Is this one Cassandra?
This is Cassandra coming up. So yeah, very sad story about this. The actor that played this sister, she actually passed away from cancer very shortly after the game wrapped up development, which is very sad. And as I understand it, that actor and the Duke were very good friends in real life, and he was very sad when she passed away. So big rip to the actor. She did fantastic in this role. I'm dumb. I forgot to grab the animal skull first.
Dude, I've done that before.
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Oop, not that.
I've never done that. Selected the wrong item?
Never once.
Never.
Yeah, menuing is very important in this speedrun.
very precise,
so
too.
If you're going for PB or especially world record, which none of us in this chat ever have, because there's some absolute gamers in the Resident Evil community.
I'm gonna wait here for
if you're going for even just a PB, like seriously, every millisecond counts. You can lose like 0.3 second. You're like, shit.
Forgot what door I went through.
Reset. Yeah.
Yeah, so I waited at a doorway right before I ran past Lady D. If you run straight out, you'll actually bump into her and she can hit you. But if you wait for like half a second, she'll move forward just enough that you can squeeze around her. And there's a couple of points where we'll actually lower the frame rate to be able to do that. But that's a spot where it's really easy to squeeze right around her. And it actually costs less time to do that because we don't have any kind of hitbox collision when we do. So now we come outside. So remember those enemies that were inside? Now they fly.
Yeah, and remember that those enemies previously were villagers in the village below this castle. So there's some funky stuff going on. We don't know what it is yet, but there's definitely something that's out of the normal here.
I don't normally have them fly in front of my face like that. That startled me for a second. I wasn't expecting that.
You know, it may not be RE7, but it's still a horror game.
Yeah, it's still a horror game, and the scariest part of the game is still yet to come. You'll see, chat.
Well, that was a big adjustment to get used to in this game because the menuing is so different to RE7.
Yeah,
but
it's
just
extremely different. They really revamped the system. It's much better in this game, I think, compared to RE7. RE7, I think they were, because RE7 was still kind of a trial run with the new RE engine and tackling it from a first-person perspective. I think they weren't quite comfortable with how they were setting things up yet. By the time they got to this game, though, they kind of knew the engine a lot more thoroughly because this is built on the RE engine, which is very exclusive to Capcom.
Well, and RE7 menu, like it was built for controller.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like keyboard mouse was an afterthought, but once you get used to the RE7 menuing. Hello.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to get this. I don't think I'm going to get this. We're going to go for it.
Yeah, so what Dan's doing is
more dodge.
Yeah, so I mean, Blaine just summed it up, but basically you can pass by enemies. I don't know exactly how it works, but you lower the frame rate, and then I guess the collision isn't like
your hitbox gets smaller at lower frame rates because
wait, what?
Yeah, your hitbox actually is smaller at lower frame rates.
Huh?
And that's an engine thing. That's not an in-game thing. That happens in RE7 as well.
Oh, so Meta, this is actually something that is maybe new to the route that you haven't seen. So we put on all the masks to get the door to lower. So in order to kind of juke the timer a little bit, we come in here. The timer is actually paused right now, the in-game timer. We sit through this cutscene, wait for it to end, and the door will be open. So we're actually kind of overlapping in-game stuff with the cutscene to trick the timer. And then we can come straight through the door, and we don't have to wait for it, which is a really nice little speed hack. And it saves exactly 1 second.
Yes.
Yes, in-game
Yeah.
time strats. So fun fact, by the way, we aren't running any percent, but if we were running any percent, we would be able to skip from, I think it's the first daughter, all the way to this dagger right here.
Yep. Now
So
I'll let
that
this
is one
cutscene
of the
play a little
giant
bit
shifts.
for everybody because this is the cutscene that everybody wants.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
Booba!
That's the only one you get.
Thank you for that. It meant a lot to me.
Oh, come on. I missed her. I was aiming in the wrong spot. She's kind of hard to see as you come out of the cutscene, and so you have to like really know where you're aiming, and that strat is actually somewhat new. So for this, oops, I switched weapons too early. I'm gonna hit her a couple of times with the stake, and then I have to wait. She actually will not take any more damage until she's destroyed a bunch of this upper section of this castle. So I literally have to just wait out the clock until she's destroyed these 2 archways. Then she'll take a little bit more damage, and then we can kind of polish her off before we head into the final phase of the fight. So we're gonna wait till she breaks down this archway.
There is an SRT that's really useful for stuff like this too. That will just mean speedrunning tool that will show you the HP meters of the enemies and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, it's basically, if you've speedrun other games before, it's just a trainer, but it's very advanced. Like, it implements like HUD elements for the health, like Blaine said, and allows you to do like a bunch of other stuff. It's pretty cool.
The disappearing lady. So I'm just
And
gonna
yeah,
riddle her with
obviously
bullets
would be-
until the cycle ends. She'll interrupt her dialogue, and we start the last phase. Oh, she skipped her voice line. Weird. Yeah, sometimes if you interrupt certain dialogue options, or sometimes some dialogue triggers, they'll just skip their dialogue, but you'll still see the subtitle at the bottom. It's odd. Now I'm going to. We have to just wait for her to fly around. She won't take damage during this section, and then we just need to hit one more time with this little weapon right here. Go now. I'm gonna wait for a cue to fire.
I'll eat you up, every last morsel.
Yep.
If you shoot immediately, you won't actually do damage to her. So you have to wait until there's an opening to make that work.
Because when I used to run the game, I used to shoot immediately because I didn't know about that yet.
Yeah, none of us did.
Oh, and another fun fact about any percent, I'm just remembering this now. While we were routing, we found an out of bounds that got you to this flask, but you couldn't pick it up.
You can't pick it up. Yeah, the whole game, because it's kind of an open world concept game in a manner of speaking. They couldn't program everything in like a linear fashion the way they could with, say, like, you know, RE5. So you have to they have to tie everything to triggers, and the game has very tightly wound triggers, except for one, which is in the castle, which is why you can skip the entire castle with an out of bounds. But you can't really skip anything else in the game. Like, the castle section is really the only long section of the game you can skip. You can go out of bounds in the factory, but I think it only saves like 30 seconds.
Yep.
It's like
and
not a big one.
There were so many different areas where it was like, if this one thing was different, we would be able to save like 15 minutes, but no, there's one trigger.
You could actually get to the factory without having done any of the boss fights going out of bounds, but you couldn't interact with the chalice because the check is, are the bosses dead, and if none of them were dead, then you couldn't do it. And it was like, well, I guess we have to play the game like normal.
Yep. And there's another skip that I was routing, and I almost got there, and we'll get to that later in the run. But if I had been able to do it, I think it would have saved, I think like 15, 20 minutes or something, because it skips an entire region.
Yeah, it skips an entire boss fight.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Well, hey, we're gonna meet the Duke again because he teleports.
Yep, we're back to the
Or
village
something.
after
Or
the
just
castle.
makes a massive mad dash between locations. Who knows?
Well, now, does he make a mad dash, or are there several Dukes?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Ah,
So we're gonna put the first flask in. This will save a little bit of time. This saves like 3 seconds, I think, or something like that. And then coming out of this cutscene. All right, so we're gonna do a little skip. I have to aim this shot.
This
There we
one's
go.
cool. Yep, nice.
I missed that the other day in practice.
all
somehow.
those chains would have been a good place to have the bolt cutters, but we don't
have the bolt cutters anymore.
I don't know why they even put them in the game.
Why would you use a tool more than once, Blaine? Gosh, that's
I know.
silly.
Especially something as iconic to the franchise like the bolt cutters.
Oh,
Yeah, if I
sir?
remember correctly, I'm trying to remember what that. Does that skip a key? The shot from the door?
It skips it skips the ladder. That you have to run around the backside of the house and do all that.
Right. So yeah, basically Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so like, there's a way to get the combo for this, but since we've already played the game before, we know what the combo is, so we could just input the combo and go straight to the next part. What were you gonna say?
I forgot.
Nice.
Something about the lock skip, but I forgot.
Yeah, so I shot that lock when I was still at the top of the stairs, and that breaks the lock from the outside, so you don't have to go through a gate, run past a kind of a bigger enemy. Yeah, I can actually show you right here because this is the part coming up where we would do it. So we would normally have to go down that way and do a bunch of stuff around, but we can climb through this window and the door is already open for us. Super
Yeah, you know when
nice
they
and
say
easy.
this door opens from the other side? That's what we did.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So yeah, the reason that lock is there is because it's supposed to be like a shortcut, right? Once you get into the area, the intended use for it is supposed to be a shortcut.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
Once
okay.
you've already done it, game.
So that's the intended use, but because we can actually see the lock from before we even reach the area, we shoot the lock and then we use the shortcut, which is intended to exit, and we use it to enter instead.
So after great struggle and dire strife, I finally managed to get the key and open the door. It took me a second.
Shooting it, I think, was the real like.
That was the
strat.
play, yeah. So fun fact about this map: this map can actually cost you time due to load times. So what if you're like grinding for a record or a PB?
Right.
What some people will do is they'll actually load up a save at that map, play through that cutscene, and then start a new game. And the loading on that map is a lot shorter, and so you can save a couple seconds doing that. It's like literally that's how polished and refined the route has gotten, that we're finding like these little 3-second time saves that people will literally actually load up previous saves in order to do. It's like, brr. It's a lot of work, but it's, it's worth it if you're going for a PB attempt.
Resident Evil 7 and Village, like a lot of the Resident Evils, like if you save 15 seconds on the run, sometimes you just jumped up like 30 spots on the leaderboard, right? Like,
Okay, you can't skip this.
There's something I have to tell you.
So yeah, Resident Evil Village is like a mix of action and horror, I would say. And this section coming up is definitely more action focused, right, Dane?
Yes, this is the most action-heavy part of the game coming up. It's so action-packed, in fact, that we're not even going to have our guns for it.
Yep.
oh baby, I can't wait for this part.
Blaine, you remember the last marathon when you said something about speedrunner sarcasm and subtlety? Something about that, I think, right?
Yeah.
Something like, yeah.
That definitely would not be applicable here.
We would never be sarcastic in during my runs, ever.
No. I resent the accusation.
So you're supposed
Someone
to
in chat says, "Oh, this is the part with the little baby." Yes, little.
Yes, the
Little.
small baby, the very small baby that you're all going to see. That part, I freaked out the moment I saw that thing in my casual playthrough. I was like, "What is that thing?" So we're just gonna stare at this wall.
I lost viewers. I remember that my stream was doing pretty good, and then I saw like 3 people that are just like, "Nope," and they were gone. My viewer count
Dude,
dropped.
freaked
right
out.
away.
Dude, literally during this section, like I was like, I don't know if I can complete this game. I really don't. I was like, this is gonna be RE7 all over again. I'm not gonna be able to finish this game. I'm too scared.
So fun fact, elevators are loading zones in this game. You are actually in a loading zone. So one of the things they promoted about this game was they said there's no loading screens. There's no loading screens anywhere in the game, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!" And then it turns out the elevators are actually the loading screens.
Yeah, they're hidden. They are pretty well hidden though. Like I didn't know that in my casual playthrough.
So I know that
It does help if you have a fast hard drive though.
I know that we're running glitchless, but we're actually going to take advantage of a very small glitch here. See if I can get it. Oops. There we go. Got it. So you're actually supposed to be
Glitches in my glitchless run?
So you're supposed to be slowed down during this part, but if you just poke your nose outside and then run back in, you can actually get this running speed, and it saves you like 4 or 5 seconds, maybe a little bit more than that actually, maybe closer to like 6.
Yeah.
It's a nice little buzz, and it's not really that much of a glitch. It's a very small glitch. It's very small. When we say glitchless, we're talking like out of bounds, like using a grenade to go out of bounds. That's a little different. And out of bounds is very easy. Yeah, it's glitchless, not glitch none. Now we're coming up on, everybody in my chat loves this part because I do a little miming section, so I will demonstrate the miming for you all right now during this part. So we get the next flask.
I've been waiting for so long. I'd make a much better daughter than Rose. Please, won't you stay with me forever?
What?
So we have the, oops, oh shoot, I'm going the wrong way. Or wait, no, it's 5 to 9. I'm going the wrong way again. Oh god.
Don't you remember Mia and Ethan's anniversary?
I know, I don't remember their anniversary. I can't even remember my own anniversary, man. All right.
How dare you?
So there's this mannequin here, and this mannequin has like different facets and parts to the puzzle. But if you already know all the answers to the puzzle, you can actually skip a bunch of this mannequin. We need the winding key in order to come over here. This is like, I would say the castle's the most puzzle heavy section, but we've got like this really dense amalgam of puzzles right here in this section, and then the puzzles start to kind of ease off after this.
And this puzzle took me a while as well.
1 2 1 2 2 4 4 3 4 5 1 2 2 4 4 3 4 5.
So obviously we just know the order now, but you're supposed to look at those scratches and you need to line it up. The problem that I ran into in my casual playthrough is that some of the scratches look like, that could maybe be.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see.
Yeah.
But eventually you start to look at it and you start to say, okay, I see how this works. Now, we're about to, so there's this little cluster of interactable points on this mannequin coming up in a second. If I hit the wrong one, I'm going to lose like 6 seconds. So I'm going to try to hit the right spot. Yes! You can hit her eye, you can hit her chest, you can hit her mouth. We want the mouth because we're trying to get the film here. And if you miss and hit the wrong spot, you end up having to sit through this animation that takes, I swear it takes like 6 or 7 seconds to finish. And it's like, what a dumb way to lose time. It's very annoying.
And then run's just dead, basically.
Yeah, your run can die just because you interact with her eyeball instead of her mouth. It's so irritating. And there's a whole puzzle to that as well. Like there's a whole like, this event happened first and this one second. You're supposed to line up the films, but if you know the answer, you could just skip right through it. It's very, very easy. So I think we've interacted with the mannequin for all but one thing. I think we just have to get one more thing out of it. And then we'll never have to deal with anything from that mannequin again, right? Pretty sure.
Definitely.
Pretty sure. Sounds right.
Yeah, creepy video of a well and an empty crib. Very normal.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think we should go down there. That looks like a fun, adventurous place.
It's not ominous, so like, why not? Why not? I'm buffering.
Of wells,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of wells, which is a pretty deep subject.
Oh no, I'm gonna make you keep talking, Blaine. You started this sentence. I'm gonna make you finish it.
But
Bye, Mia. All right, so this is another one where I have to interact with the right point. Nice. We have to cut open the gauze in order to open up the mannequin's chest.
Booba.
You said it, not me.
I have claimed my token.
That was a goal split, by the way.
Nice.
And what was that split called?
I'm not saying it. Oh. Oh, I have the wrong... There we go. I always forget that puzzle. I have the hardest time remembering that specific door puzzle.
Yeah, and the golds in this game... Excuse me. Hold on one sec.
Your illustrious host, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, I'm...
Choking on a piece of dust.
No, we're good. We're good. We're good. What was I saying? Oh, gold's in this game because this game is so optimized. Like, what was that gold, Dane? Like minus like 0.1 or something?
Point,
that would still
0.3. It was a 0.3 second
like,
gold.
That's a huge gold.
That's a huge gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Golds are very, very rare once you get to. I mean, I think 25th on the leaderboard. I'm not near the top. My PB is a 130.58, and I think world record's like 126.10. Like it's a very optimized run up to this point. Now this is fine. This is not a problem. We're just gonna come over here to. Oh, that's a very terrifying noise. We're gonna go the other way. Something might be chasing us right now. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That's not a giant umbilical cord. Where's the mannequin? Anyways, so we have to go get the fuse out of the breaker box. Or so we have to get the fuse out of the breaker box. So we're gonna go to the breaker box first to get an item that we need. And I have to do this part actually super quickly, or I'm not gonna be able to one cycle this, and I'm gonna have to like run around, and it's gonna actually be really bad. So I'm gonna try and do this.
Chat, this is where you take your Twitch out of full screen and put it in theater mode.
Oh, I may have screwed this up.
Monka.
Okay, hopefully it's fine. Please. Oh, this is gonna be close.
Hi, baby.
Ooh, we made it. Ooh. That was extremely close. And if you're wondering what's chasing us, you're gonna see it in a minute.
It's very cute.
That actually got my heart racing a little bit.
There's nothing that pleases me more than the laugh of a baby, especially in dark rooms.
Yeah, the laugh of a baby is a wonderful thing, unless you live alone and you don't have a baby. Huh?
Are you going for the skip here?
Of course I'm going for the skip here.
Monk ass, dude.
So we're gonna skip the baby. Okay, we're gonna wait till it's visible. I'm gonna change the frame rate.
I'm closing my eyes.
Less frames, more dodge.
That baby ate me, if you want to know what happened just now. Okay, it's fine, it's fine.
Dangerous, you're giving me a heart attack!
Yeah, the problem is with this room is it's dark, is you can't exactly see where you're going. All right, the frame rate is at 30 right now. This is not your stream, this is the game. It is done like this on purpose. Again, lower frames make your hitbox smaller, so we are setting this up. And the timing on this is stupidly precise. I think I'm not pushing out to the right. You have to be like flush to the right, and I think I'm not quite doing it properly. Oh,
Chat, please protect me. Dangerous is subjecting me to torture.
So the way you're supposed to do is you're supposed to run back into that bedroom and hide under the bed in order to get past this monster, but we're trying to skip doing that because it takes a long time.
Well, and this is one of those skips that there's been
What is going on?
a few different versions of, and this one is supposed to be the fastest, right? Like it's.
Yeah.
I remember I used to kind of hide behind the door and wait for the baby to go through the door, and then take off.
Yeah, there's another way of setting it up where you can do that. And it's supposed to be easier, but I actually never learned that setup. I just started doing this one. I think I'm going a little bit late. I think I need to go a little bit earlier. I'm trying to get this timing right. There we go.
Got it.
I can open my eyes now?
You can open your eyes now.
Yeah, it's fine.
You sissy.
Chat, we're okay. We're safe. Let's go.
Meta is sissy boy. And so that's almost the entire Beneviento house. So this is like, we were being sarcastic earlier when we said this is the most action-heavy part of the game. This is definitely the most horror section. I think this is my favorite section of the run, just because it's so horror-esque and it fits so well into kind of the horror genre. And
You are a masochist.
uh-oh. The baby's here.
Dane!
No baby! No baby! No baby! By the way, if you don't press that button, the baby will come into the elevator and eat you. Don't ask me how I know that. You are a monster!
Da, 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 da.
So in case you want to know where that came from, it actually came out of the mannequin. So that was a mannequin of Mia, your wife, and that baby came out of the mannequin. There is a lore explanation behind it. I don't remember what it is, but yeah, now we're gonna fight the boss.
Video game logic.
Yeah, it's very video game logic. Now we're gonna fight the boss. This is the boss Angie, and this split in my live split is called Angie, because this fight is random.
Yes.
So the split is called Angie.
Yeah, so remember how we were talking about
that's
how
hilarious.
like 0.3 of a second like very much matters?
Yeah.
This split, if I remember correctly, can vary by up to 7 seconds depending on your RNG.
Yeah,
here.
depending on how
Sorry,
well
your
you get
RNG.
things set up. This fight can be very random. Let's hope we get the bad RNG for both of the second two parts. So this first part is always the same every time. She's always in this spot. The next part, she's in one of two places. One of them's good, one of them's bad. Let's hope she's in the bad one, just so you can see how bad this really can get. So the first spot is right behind this banister. Oh, and that's where she is. So we got the good RNG for the first cycle. Let's see if we get the good one for the second one. This won't be a gold split.
No.
Oh my god, we got the god RNG
Wow.
for
You
both
literally got
cycles.
the
Look at
best
that.
RNG.
We got the best
in a
RNG
marathon.
both times in a marathon when I'm 2 minutes and 40 seconds behind my my PB.
Bruh.
Stupid idiot! What are you doing to my cute friends?
Not just friends. Angie very specifically wanted you to know what you were doing to her cute friends.
To our cute friends.
Because that's crucial to the question, obviously.
Obviously.
And menuing again, I'm bad at it.
So that's who was behind all that?
And we get the next flask. So we haven't actually explained what these flasks are. We've been picking them up after every boss fight. What exactly are these flasks?
So, okay.
You want like the real answer or?
Yeah,
so-
it's kind of complicated to explain, and it's kind of to answer. But there's a lore reason for these flasks.
Some might say that it is like rose petals in those.
Yes, Blaine,
those
one
flasks?
could say that, but why would one? Why would one? So the answer to this is your baby daughter that you put to bed at the beginning of the game. She has been separated into these 4 flasks. Now she's fine. She's fine. Spoiler alert. She's coming back at the end of the game. It's fine. But she is currently separated into these 4 flasks, and we are trying to get all 4 of these flasks back so that we can put her back together.
Yeah,
I feel weird saying that.
yeah. Head,
It's like
shoulders,
magic.
and-
Don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah, it's magic. There's magic in this game. There's zombies. I mean, nothing's off the table.
Magic zombies.
I'm trying to remember what's revealed to the player at this point about like what's actually going on.
Well, you know that your daughter is split between the flasks, but you don't actually know what the rationale is for why that happened.
Sorry, someone in chat wrote "build a baby."
I almost went the wrong way. All right, so there's an enemy right here that can sometimes body block me, so I'm actually going to do the frame rate strat here so you can see it one more time. Now, that was a very small amount of time that I did that for, but if I didn't do that, that would actually, like, that enemy would push me backward and cost me about 3 seconds. Yeah, it's a good idea to do that. By the way, whoever you are that wrote that, genius. All right, now we're definitely not going to get attacked here by anything large and hairy. Oh, you made me a liar. I said we weren't going to. That's fine, it's dead. All right, so moving on. The stake is a powerful weapon, like I said. This thing is too tanky. So this is going to be a thing that we have to deal with during this next part, because
It's not.
it's basically snot. It looks like snot. I think it is actually some sort of like internal thing to the next boss. I think it's like something that he spits up or something. It's gross and yeah, but it's part of the boss fight, so that's the lore reason for it. And we have to sit through the longest elevator in the game. This part, because this next section's, it's not super long, but the section's huge. And so it takes forever to load in. So what we do is we do this pause buffer strat here. So I'm not gonna do it for this like legit, but what we do is we just pause. Let me see if I can get one out of this just so you can see. But I'm just gonna pause over and over, and I'm waiting for that, where you see the little ticker kind of scrolling around. And if you do that, you can actually save up to 8 seconds during this section, because you'll stop the timer while you do it and let the game load in. It's very, very useful.
It also doesn't help that like if you look from out of bounds, the elevator itself is actually long too, and there's the loading times. Okay,
it's very frustrating, because you know you're sitting there trying to like grind out these runs, and you have these time saves, and you get so sick of doing these runs that you swear you just want to throw up.
Yes. So this room right here on that desk, there is a key. If you can clip through this wall right in front of us, which is technically possible, but as I was like routing any percent, I was just using cheat engine because memes. But if you grab that key, you can literally leave this area. You can skip the entirety of what we're about to play. By just clipping through like a half-inch wall.
But there's no way to do it.
The key and you just leave. That said, well, you probably could. I just never looked into it, because you grab the key and then you bring it to where you need to use it. We'll get to that later. And you can actually progress through the next area of the game in its entirety. It looks a little buggy because it's in like a different time of day, but it progresses properly until you finish that area of the game, and then it bugs out. So it looks like the skip works for the next like 15-20 minutes. And then there's just like a trigger way later in the game that's just like, wait a minute, no, hold on, you didn't do this part, go back. So yeah, it works, but it doesn't.
Yeah, so due to the child of this particular child of Miranda, the incompetence of this character, we actually have the flask already, so we're good to go. We just need that key, so we're gonna head over there and get it. The problem is that this is actually a very, very powerful child of Miranda, who, once he transforms, he becomes very, very scary, as demonstrated here.
What was that?
Moreau is a meme in Village of Shadows, because he is one of the tankiest fights. I think he's actually even tankier than Miranda, just in terms of raw HP.
So, like, if you had to rate the children from best to worst, where would you put Monroe? Best
I would put Moreau near the top of the list. I am stuck. So I'm shooting that thing. Yep, okay, we got it. I'm shooting that in order to actually cycle that a little faster, so when we get to that part, it speeds up. I'm going to try and do another pause buffer here.
And also, so we skipped a big cutscene there. And in that cutscene, we meet Chris from the beginning of the game, and Chris sort of fills us in a little bit as to what's going on. We are really mad at Chris at first because, you know, we think he killed our wife. Turns out...
Well, hold on, we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's in the tent.
No, it's not. No, it's not in the tent. It's in, it's at the factory.
Okay.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm sure it's in the tent. I remember the cutscene, but...
Oh, okay. Okay, then go ahead and tell him. My bad.
So in the tent, you would start attacking Chris, and he's like, "Oh, hold on." He actually overpowers you, and he lets you know, he's like, "That wasn't your wife that I killed. It was Miranda." And you can't kill Miranda in a traditional way. But Miranda is a shapeshifter, and was like playing as your wife
for like 3 weeks or something like that.
Who knows how long.
For like a long time, she was pretending to be your wife. Now, if I don't go over this quickly, I'm gonna get eaten. Okay, we're good. If you don't go fast enough, you can actually get eaten there, and then you have to wait for another cycle. It's annoying.
Now, personally, when I found out that Mia was not dead, I was a little disappointed. She's a horrible character. Okay?
That's terrible. I like Mia.
She is. Like, if you play 7, and this together,
Mia-
like she is horrible.
Yeah,
She's a bad
Mia
wife.
is a
Ethan would have been better off to just pull into Louisiana, go nope, and turn around and go home.
yeah. Mia is a pretty dislikable character because of what she does in RE7.
See, I didn't play 7, so maybe that's why I like
Yeah,
Mia.
she's very dislikable because of her. Basically, it's because of her this whole thing happened in the first place. And she's also been lying to Ethan the whole time about her comings and goings with the BSAA
And I think she slept with Alan. I'll say it. Yeah.
Whoa, okay, that's not something we can prove. All right, now
Okay,
you asked
okay.
me earlier if I would rank what I would rank the
who's the best?
them. Hey, he's the best. Yes, you are.
he's
Monroe,
the
you're
best.
the best.
Yeah,
We're so proud of you.
Who's
the best boy?
Spam your fish molies in chat at this time, please. I've been saving this one. We're actually not going to get to hear that line because we're going to kill him too fast, but yeah. We haven't actually gotten to the section yet, but the section coming up in a second, the screen shaking is going to get really bad. So if you have any kind of motion sickness, just warning. Oh, I had the wrong weapon out. The screen shaking gets
That's what I
really
like
bad.
to do with a buildup of snot is shoot it with a gun.
Yeah, you shoot it with a gun, and it melts.
Yes.
Very easy. Had the wrong weapon out initially, so I was like, wait a minute. The stake and the rocket pistol look a little similar, so it's sometimes difficult to tell which one's which. Ooh. I shot that a second ago to break the lock and get this ladder to lower. Saves a little bit of time instead of having to come around the corner and wait. And then the zip line is going to get like really shaky and rocky as we go. I'm going to remember to go to the left coming out of here. I always go to the right by accident. Now we have to actually come over here and interact with this ladder in order to be able to use the crank. It's weird and annoying, but we have to interact with the ladder first. And then we have what's called windmill RNG. And you can literally lose time on this windmill just based on if it's cycled or not. Okay, it's down. If sometimes the ladder hasn't spun around yet and you have to wait for it to finish spinning around, and you can lose 4 seconds on that. And just literally windmill RNG. And then we have a very safe zipline ride down. Oh my god! Okay, we're fine, it's fine. No worries. It's very scary. We use the crank one more time here. And then there's another checkpoint load we can do right here.
Do we have time for a couple donations?
1 second. Ethan, how you feeling? You feeling good, Ethan?
Okay.
All right, good to hear. Yeah, Meta, go for it.
We have... hold on, sorry. The name just disappeared, so that's fun. We have $25 from Bonnie and Bill with no comment, which is fine, but thank you very much, Bonnie and Bill. We also have $50 from Howard and Carol, saying, "We're very proud of you, David. Well done."
If you run fast enough, you can get in front of Moreau here, and looks like we did. So we got a little push forward. If you don't get in front of Moreau, you will get pushed backward and you'll lose a couple seconds. So that was kind of optimal. And here's your last chance to spam your fish molies, chat. This is it. This is the fight right here. This fight's gonna last a little while, so use your fish molies. And fight over.
Nice.
If you go fast enough, you can actually skip the first voice line. I found that out the other day. Because his
Even
first
on,
voice
like,
line is, "In death as he was in life. Disgusting." But we run so fast that he'll say, "In death as he was in life. The exit's up ahead."
So here's the key.
This is the key that we needed. That we did that whole section just to get this key. Whoops.
Yeah. So that whole section, yeah, exactly. I realized I was about to say what you just said, so there you go.
That whole long boss fight and all the weird platforming and all that, all avoidable if we could just get that key without busting everything else in the game. But yeah, we've now taken out 3 of the 4 children of Miranda. And now we're off to My least favorite part of the game. Oh, by the way, that was a gold split. That boss
You got
fight.
another gold?
I got
Dude.
another gold split. That was a gold split by 0.0 seconds. It was probably like a couple milliseconds at most. Yeah, that's how tight the timing is on these sorts of things. And my splits are nowhere near optimized yet. There's still a lot. I mean, records almost 5 minutes faster than my PB, so there's like plenty of time to save still. And the pig didn't meme me. Good stuff. Sometimes that pig can hit you and stagger you for about half a second.
Yeah, so you'll notice now we're in like the afternoon state of the open world. So the skip that I was talking about earlier means that you're still in the noon state, which means you get to play through this next area, which is I think called the Stronghold, in like the noon state, which is really interesting actually.
I wonder what that
yeah,
would look like. I'd
unfortunately,
be curious to see.
I think I have a video of it somewhere, like me just running through the Stronghold in the noon area.
Nice.
But unfortunately, after you get the 4th flask and you run through the Stronghold, once you put all the flasks where you need to, it literally, the thing is supposed to sink down, and it just doesn't sink down. And the reason is because you've skipped the Moreau boss fight. And it's like, bro.
Yeah, the chalice is somehow tied directly to the bosses being dead. Not what you have in your inventory, but the bosses. Like, there's some weird trigger check that's put in, tied directly to the boss fights. It's. I've never seen a game do that before, but it makes the game largely unbreakable. So I guess good on the dev team for thinking of that, but you know, bad for us as speedrunners that want to skip the whole game and go straight to the end. So I'm just running past these guys. Hey, sir, stop that.
Yeah, I think like the run would be very close to sub-hour if the chalice thing wasn't dependent on boss fights.
They probably learned their lesson from RE2 Remake, because RE2 Remake has an animation with a zombie that's on the floor, and it gives you the ability to actually get on a set of stairs, get attacked by a zombie, pull yourself away, and then fall through the floor, and you can skip the entire RPD section, the first part, and then you get to the sewers, and you do it again, and then you skip the entire sewers, and you go straight to the nest. So any percent is very short for RE2 Remake, but I think they learned their lesson, so they put a whole bunch of trigger checks in this game so that nobody could do that.
Just in case.
All right, so we have to wait on this gate to lower after pulling the two things. So.
Time for another donation?
We do? Go for it.
We have $10 from Caleb Royal, who says, "Thank you for all your fundraising efforts." Thank you, Caleb.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we enter the Stronghold. So remember how we killed that one big dude during that auto-scroller at the very beginning? Now we get to fight his brother. His big brother. His very big brother. Very big. Very big.
Big fish, big brother.
The guy is large. But we do have to do a little bit of platforming first. Now, there's one guy at the end of the zip line who can really screw things up if we're not careful. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope. Don't hit me, don't hit me. Oh, okay, we're good. He can sometimes hit you coming out of that. So you have iframes during that whole animation. And if you get unlucky, he'll hit you right as your iframes expire. And that'll just kind of ruin everything. So the small shortcut here, we run around these barrels on this side and we can run straight to the stairs. That's a little faster than running around the left side. And then, oh, Meta, this is probably something that you didn't see in the initial, like when you were initially running it. There's actually a way to go through this section a little faster. So rather than just hold the side button, we're actually going to spam it. So I'm going to like slam the two keys down and then let go. And I'm actually going through this much faster than if I just held down the keys because the initial part of this animation is faster than the carryover. And so you can go through this about 3 seconds faster, I think, overall. It's a nice little optimization.
Yeah, that's huge.
And then here we are going to fight Urias. So he is going to be coming through this opening right here. It's a big guy. I'm going to shoot him a little bit to lower his health.
Can you actually do damage that early?
Yep, you can. He won't stagger. He won't go through any stagger animations, but you can damage him. Okay, sir, stop calling in your friends. Get down here. Get down here. Urias? Urias!
That is the one thing about this guy.
Get
he will not
down
die
here.
up there. No matter how much damage you do to him, he will not die
Good boy.
until he jumps down.
Yeah, he will not die until he jumps down. Oh, he jumped. I ran too early. But it shoots.
Oh.
He dead.
Hammer time.
I go through the door.
Oh.
Nice and easy. Village of Shadows, by the way, that you can actually run out of ammo before you kill him if you have not hoarded your ammo. And I've watched some people playing Village of Shadows be very sad because they just straight up ran out of ammo, and it's very sad. But we have infinite ammo, so yeah.
We have a message in the chat from Forklift Driver who says, "Tell Dane he looks like an absolute Giga Chad." There you go.
Thank you, Forklift Driver. I've been told I look like Jesus more than anybody else, but yeah.
Doom Jesus.
I will also accept Matt Mercer. That's another one I get a lot.
Deacon St. John.
Deacon St. John is one that I've gotten from you. All right, so we did the stronghold. This isn't like Urias isn't one of the children of Miranda, but for whatever reason, he's in possession of one of the flasks. I'm not entirely sure the reason for that. By the way, this door is glitched. You can actually like hit the collision model for the door way earlier than most other doors, but if you wiggle your way into it, you can kind of sit in the pocket of it before it opens and save a little bit of time that way.
Paperclip, Pog?
It's not a paperclip. Now, this is Steve. Steve normally gets in the way. In fact, Steve once cost me a PB, but Steve actually stayed very nicely out of the way this time, so Steve gets to live. Normally, we pop Steve with the rocket pistol and take him out because he kept screwing me up. So now we're going to deposit the rest of the flasks.
So this is where I was talking about with the flask earlier. So you can get the key, have the flask and all that sort of stuff. But as soon as you get to this point, so keep in mind, remember how long ago I initially started talking about the skip for Moreau?
It was a while ago.
That's how long it takes for the skip to finally break. It seems like it's working for like 20, 30 minutes or whatever. And then it breaks here. The frickin' thing just doesn't sink into the ground. Do you know how upset I was when I realized now the skip that I thought I had found wasn't going to work?
Yeah, but you have Shadow Warrior 3. That whole game just lets you skip to the end of every level, so...
That's true. That's been a lot of fun.
You paid your tax of finding skips in a game that won't let you. Now you get to pay it off.
This is true.
So we picked up the chalice back there, and we're going to drop the chalice down here, and that's going to take us to the absolute longest section of the game by, like, not even a small margin. By the way, if you notice, this whole platform looks a little bit like the Umbrella insignia. Kind of ominous, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like in the start of this game, there's not as many links to, like, the traditional Resident Evil stuff, other than, you know, obviously, just
Chris and...
to 7, obviously, but like as you progress through the game, you start to see like the Umbrella Corporation and like other sort of stuff, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Chris and some of the other characters are kind of the only tie back to the original series. 7 was a humongous departure from the RE franchise. They went in a very different direction with it, partly because they wanted to go back to the horror genre. They went way far into the action side of things with RE6, and so they were like, let's go back to horror. And so they introduced Ethan and Mia in this whole other side story that they hadn't had before, and they tie it back into the original lore, but not very tightly. So we'll see coming up in RE9 whether or not they decide to kind of tie both storylines together.
Or maybe the DLC, because I know there's DLC coming.
Oh yeah, there's DLC coming. We may see that.
I'm very excited for that. I honestly kind of forgot until just now.
So I'm gonna do a that was a cough, but thank you anyway, Forklift Driver. So I'm gonna do a checkpoint load here. That actually saves about 2 seconds compared. I mean, it's slower RTA, but I'm doing it because I want to show it off. Oops, went the wrong way. And this is another very long cutscene that we're gonna skip.
So do you remember what's said in that cutscene?
That's the one where you kind of meet Heisenberg, and he invites you to work with him to take down Miranda, and Ethan tells him to, in no small part, to hang it.
Yeah, basically, okay, so Heisenberg is like the main antagonist of this area.
Yeah.
And he basically wants to use Rose, your daughter, as a weapon against Miranda. So
Yeah.
obviously, you know, like we have a common enemy. We want to take down Miranda, who's been this kind of like looming figure over the village and causing a lot of death and destruction.
Ethan,
But
please.
Rose is our daughter, so...
Ethan, please. Ethan will sometimes just not climb this ledge. Ethan.
Yeah, this. I've had that happen, and I feel your pain.
And,
But yeah.
there's no do better. There's just Ethan doesn't climb.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, so obviously we do not want to work with Heisenberg because he's threatening our daughter's life with using her as a weapon, because our daughter is actually very powerful. I
Yeah.
forget why. It has something to do with the mold and her being born out of the mold.
She is the daughter of a human and a mold person. We don't know this yet. Ethan's actually we don't know that he is, but spoiler alert, Ethan's one of the mold. He doesn't even know it yet. And because Rose was born to she's the daughter of a human and a mold person, she has inexplicable powers, and we start to see some of those manifest in the post-credit cutscene, and it is firmly suggested that she is going to be the protagonist of RE9, which will be very exciting to watch.
Dude, that'll be so awesome.
So we're
Rose
now...
is probably my favorite character.
Oh, she's great. I'm super excited to play the game as her. So coming into the factory, we're now encountering a new kind of element to the puzzles of this game. There's these red dots that you're going to see on some doorways. You have to break these dots. The problem is that it's sometimes hard to get these dots to hit if you're not directly in front of them. Luckily, there's a couple of ways we can cheese that with this rocket pistol having the explosive damage that it does. But first, we have to get a relief. Now, that guy is just sleeping, so he's fine. We're going to do another pause buffer here to grab the relief mold before the thing opens. And, oh, he's awake. That's fine. No big deal. Oh, get out of the way.
He just wants a hug.
He just wants a hug. With a drill. Not ominous at all. All right, so we're going to deposit the relief mold, and we have to kind of wait here for this thing to finish. So I'm going to go in and take them out, otherwise they might cause me problems later on when I come back here. And there is an out of bounds in this section of the game, but it only saves you like 30 seconds, and if you don't get it first try, you're losing time. So it's that's part of the reason why I run Glitchless, because the out of bounds is hard.
This one's definitely much more excuse me, this one's harder than the castle for sure.
For sure.
And saves less time. Just as cool though.
All right, so I'm trying to time these shots. Ooh. Okay, got that one.
Nice. Yeah, the rocket pistol, as I recall, is a projectile weapon. It's not a hit scan, so you need to time a little bit more than you would if it was a hit scan weapon. I forget what the story is with these enemies. Like, are they like the same as like the ones in the castle? Or
As I understand it, that is the case. But there's some other thing to them. I forget what it is. I haven't read through the lore of the game since my initial playthrough, so I haven't really like taken the time to fully understand. But
Yeah, I don't remember
they're
either,
basically
so.
they're in the code, I think, like in the game's code as the same enemy type. I'm going to unlock the door here to save a couple of. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. To save like a second, a little bit later in the run. This is where the rocket pistol comes in handy to pop both of those red dots, and we can run through here much faster. Oops. Do another pause buffer to grab the cog mold.
and this area in a casual playthrough, by the way, is like a freaking maze.
Yeah,
It's like
I got
lost
super
so many
lost
times.
playing this casually. He's also a problem in New Game, but we got a
I
stake.
still love their, like, you just stiff as a board and falls over backwards. I love that animation.
It reminds me
like,
of Jack from Tekken 1 when he pounds his chest and he just falls backwards. It's hilarious.
Makes me think of Petrificus Totalis on Neville Longbottom in Harry Potter.
That's great. But yeah, you can see like both casually and in the speedrun, this section is super long. I think I spent an entire stream just playing this one part casually. It's because it just takes forever. So to try and time a shot here. Nice, got them all.
Running through this area reminds me of Mercenaries, and it is not a happy memory.
Oh god, Mercenaries in this level screwed. It's terrible.
It's so hard. I don't know how you got that lightsaber. Like, I was dedicated to getting the lightsaber, and I had to give up because it was like I would try for hours and hours, and I couldn't get it.
Yeah, there was a lot of oh, I missed one of them. There was a lot of expletives, a lot of smashing keyboards. Yeah. So we would have gotten through the door a little faster, but I missed one of the red dots. Sometimes that can happen.
By the way, everyone, if you collectively can donate $70 by the end of this run, which I think we have... How long do you think we have left, Dane?
Oh, I missed all of that. We got about, let's say half an hour or so.
Okay. Dude, that's so doable. All right, chat. $70 in the next 30 minutes, and we will have met half of our goal for the entire marathon. I think we can do that, don't you think?
I think we can do that.
I think we can.
One $5 train. We got this. We have 290 people in here. If you each donate $1, we will have multiplied the goal. Math is hard.
That's why I have a math emote.
Minimum.
Right.
I have a math emote just for that occasion.
$3 train? Question mark.
Yeah, $3 train.
We did get a call for a $3 train earlier from Lawyer. Maybe we can jump on that $3 train. So yeah, this is just a very long running section where I mean, a lot of this is exposition where Heisenberg talks to us a little bit more. We learn a little bit more about his motivation to do things until we get to the end of this section. And then there's this next part, this next room. This was screwing me up in practice. So I'm gonna hope that we don't have any problems here. I'm gonna shoot that.
I don't know what it is, but this part for me is so satisfying, especially with the rocket pistol.
Yeah, it's fun. So you have to break these 4 red lights. Problem is, I think I missed one of them. And you got these 2 soldats. And these are big soldats. Like, these guys are tanky boys. They have a layer of armor around them that you have to punch through before you can actually hurt them. Yeah, I missed one of these dots. Hold on, I gotta aim this.
So one question. When do we meet Jesse Pinkman?
When do we meet Jesse Pinkman? Yes, because his name's Heisenberg. Well, funnily enough, Heisenberg in Breaking Bad. Oh, no! Sir, please move. Please move. Let me up the stairs.
Oh, ah!
You're a jerk. I don't like you.
What is this, Bioshock?
There we go. Yeah, they do look like big daddies, don't they? Yeah, anyway,
No,
so
that's all you, Dane.
Heisenberg in Breaking Bad was named Heisenberg for the theoretical physicist Heisenberg. Heisenberg in this game is also named for the same guy. He is not named for the Breaking Bad character, in case anybody was confused about that. Yeah. Now, I don't know how many of you like watching my stream, but this is my biggest fan.
Wah, wah, wah. That's about enough of that.
Yeah, you actually can get sucked into that fan and die, but you actually have a humongous buffer of time before you actually die. And I've never actually seen the animation of flying into the fan, because I figured it out on my first playthrough, like, oh, big red dot, shoot it. Duh. Otherwise, why would they give you control of your gun during that part?
I have flown into the fan.
You have flown into the fan? I haven't seen it. I'll have to look that up. Or play through it and
just did it
die.
to see, kind of like I was doing the,
just to see.
look how close I get. Look how close I get.
Yeah.
You do hit a point where it's like, boop, that's it.
Yeah, but they give you a
That's how
long
close you
time
get.
before you actually hit that point,
It
interestingly
does
enough.
take a while, yeah. Like, it took effort.
To not just click the left mouse button.
Yep.
So this is another loading zone, but you actually can't buffer this one because Heisenberg's talking during it. So you just have to sit through this one. There's no way around it.
Do you have time for a few donations then?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, we have $10 from Cathis saying, more to come later, but let's start a donate train. Indeed. Let's do it. We have $20 from Cenix. Thank you, Cenix.
Hey, Cenix.
Who just says, less than 3. Cenix, you have given so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Cenix.
We also have the first, maybe? $3 donation
Hey.
from Mute D6 saying,
Hey.
"Can we get a $3 Danejerus going on? Just want to say the gameplay so far is insangerous. I enjoy the supreme gameplay. Keep up the work, Jerus." Yeah, let's get that $3 train going, everybody.
Oop.
Oh, Duke. We also have another $3 from Blaine, who says, "Toot toot!"
That I am the most happy with this donation of all, because that was one hell of a choo choo you just put in there.
So
If you want me to read out anything, impressions, which I am not good at, but if you want a bad impression or anything, just donate.
my shot somehow went through him instead of hitting him. Yeah, so that can be a problem. Now there's another one that's going to be right through this door. I'm going to try and time this properly. Got him.
Got him.
All right, so we got the key mold input, and we just got to sit and wait for this. My splits are splitting in the wrong spot because it just said I had a 1 minute delta, like a 1 minute gold split on this. This is definitely not a 1 minute gold split. All right, so we got the Heisenberg Key. Okay, that other enemy disappeared. I don't know where it went. Which is good. And we've got another big guy right here. But I've got a rocket pistol and a stake. Oh, I went too far. I was so busy showing off, I went too far. All right, now you can do the frame rate buffer thing here. And if I hit the shot initially, that would have been faster, but I missed a couple shots, so I didn't.
Duke just chilling.
Time for another donation.
Yeah, go for it.
We have $3 from Alter Bry Guy, who says,
Hey.
"Toot toot!" Who the heck is Mute? I don't know. You tell me.
All right, I have the correct grenade in here. So there's a boss fight in here that can be a real problem casually, but I have a flash grenade queued up in here, so I'm going to time this. Oop. And that's the boss fight.
The boss too is a speedrunner. Look how he
Interesting.
bashes his head at the wall trying to get through.
There we go. Yeah, you can actually run through this door if you're fast enough. You just... it kind of... The collision deloads before the animation plays out, so you could just kind of run through the door. I think the first shot initially missed. The reload... I'm not going to hit the reload in time. And you can't switch weapons on this beam. I always forget you can't do that. Ooh. Game, please? Thank you. Very weird. And we are approaching a extraordinarily long cutscene, followed by either your favorite or least favorite boss fight, depending on your perspective. A lot of people have very polarizing opinions about this, so we have to hit hold. Now I'm going to try and get into this elevator faster by... Ooh. Nice, optimal. So you turn around, you fire the rocket, and you can actually kind of launch yourself into the elevator, and it speeds up things a good bit, as opposed to driving forward.
This is why we have RE8 in MDSRs, because that was a Gauss boost.
Yeah, that was a Gauss boost, exactly. So I'm queuing up the cannon. I'm going to fire as soon as we hit the top of this elevator ride. I'm going to try and time this to get optimal movement here. Then we're going to pull out of the elevator. I'm going to hit that checkpoint. I'm going to reload. This is going to reset. This is not only going to reset my cannon, but it's also going to load Heisenberg in, so that I can start shooting right away. Otherwise, I'd have to sit there and wait for him to land and do all that. By the way, if you have Pepega Aim, this is a good time for Pepega Aim as an emote to be used.
Is it a good time for donations?
Yeah, because this is just going to be popping these orange blots on Heisenberg's body.
Awesome.
So go for it.
We have $3 from Yorishi, who says, a chugga chugga. I assume that would be followed by a choo choo. We also have $3 from number one Ryan, who says, all aboard the $3 Trainjerus while watching Danejerus, Speedrunjerus. Now please show me the way to first class Carriagerus and bring me a Drinkjerus. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
Appreciate that.
Ryan's one of my mods in my channel.
We also have $3 from Anonymous, who says, Kermit the Frog here. Fantastic run so far. Go for gold and keep the train going. I apologize for my awful Kermit the Frog impression, but you donated for that, so you're welcome.
I think you have to apologize to Jim Henson's whole family.
Kermit the Frog here. I would like to say that was not actually a very bad impression of me.
Bye, take it.
You heard it. Kermit the Frog said it himself. But hey, everyone, we have $22 left, and we have met our halfway goal. We'll be halfway to the goal that we set for this entire marathon. $22. I think we can get that before the rest of this run.
So this is one of the only cutscenes that we can't skip. We have to sit through this whole cutscene. For some reason, they don't let you skip this part. I don't exactly know why, but this is watching the death of Heisenberg. And another one of Ethan's great one-liners, your funeral! And then he shoots.
This fight is terrible on Village of Shadows because it's not hard. It just takes forever.
Yeah. You know what's funny is this fight actually didn't bother me on Village of Shadows. It's the section coming up after this that took me forever to finish.
Oh yeah.
It took me an eternity after this. But this fight, I think I actually got this fight first try, and then I spent like 6 years in the next section afterward. So yeah, these are another really long set of cutscenes. We just have to kind of sit through them. This is where, unfortunately, during that cutscene, Ethan died. It's very sad. Ethan's dead. Because you just said, because he's confirmed the death of Ethan Winters. So now we're playing as Chris Redfield. For the first time since, I think, RE5 was the last time we played as Chris. Well, unless you count the unless you count the RE7 DLC, which I don't really count that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everyone watch for hostile bioweapons. Roger. Made contact.
And by the way, I'll explain that in a second. So if you look up, the enemies actually don't aggro quite as quickly if you don't look at them. So if you just look up, you can run through this section without getting hit. They'll still hit you sometimes, but not nearly as much. Case in point. But you could look up to get around them and just run right past them in a lot of cases. There's another pause buffer you can do here. So they slow your movement down right here. But if you pause the game and just sit for a second or two, you can run through that. It saves about 2 seconds, maybe 2 to 3 seconds. It's like these little tiny time saves like that. This one you can't pause buffer through. Unfortunately, they don't. That one's tied directly to the in-game time, but that's not a big deal. So, fun fact: if you played RE3 Remake, the voice actor for Chris is actually the same one that played Carlos in RE3 Remake, which was very frustrating when I went back and played RE3 Remake because all I could hear was Chris. That's all I could hear was Chris, and it drove me insane. So I'm gonna go wide around this guy. Oh, okay, that one clipped me right on this as I ran past him. I'm gonna look up again to run past these guys. I'm probably still gonna get hit a couple times, which is fine. But I'm not gonna get hit nearly as much as if I tried to like run past everybody. Case in point. Actually, almost to the end of this section. I'm going to, oh, that one jumped on top of me. I couldn't avoid that. Okay, they're getting very aggro this time. And here we go. So now we have to send in an airstrike on this thing 3 times. So I'm just gonna hold, aim, fire. Oh, I am going up the stairs. Did not mean to do that. So you might recognize this from the beginning of the game. This is actually from earlier on. And we have an infinite gun here, so we can do this as much as we want.
Do you mind if I step in really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. We have $3 from Sight of Kanzion, who says,
Hey.
"Choo choo!" There you go, Dylan. I hope that woke you up. And also, the donation to bring us over our halfway mark. That's right. We've hit $2,500, everybody.
Let's go.
A $22 donation from Cathis saying, I may as well do it since I have the chance. Thank you very much for bringing us over that $2,500 mark, Cathis. Thank you.
GG's, Cathis. Thank you so much.
Everyone, we have raised $2,500 for the children in Ukraine. Thank you very much, and I really hope that we can hit that $5,000 goal by the end of the marathon. I think we can do it. You know, we have quite a few hours left. And remember, we're doing this for the kids.
So I'm running around these guys because the airstrike will actually hit all these enemies, and if they hit me, they'll reset the airstrike. So I'm trying to, don't hit me, oh, shoot. Okay, that's fine. I just have to get positioned better. Okay, this should be fine.
It's fine.
That one's getting a little close. Okay, we're good. And then once you call on that last airstrike, the collision despawns on those vines. You can run straight through.
I'm going in. The rest of you stay back.
So I'm gonna kind of drop down. I'm gonna try and grab as many hand grenades as I can going into this because I want to be able to chuck these at the big guy right here. So his hurt box is in as soon as you get down here. Like he's loaded in. So I'm just throwing these grenades to try and get this going as fast as possible. I'm actually going to equip a couple more. Oops, I was in a bad spot for that.
And so, I don't know if you guys caught that one voice line, but that one voice line is a huge connection between RE7 and RE8. That, if you didn't catch it, it said that the mold that takes place, it's like sort of what caused the events of RE7, originated in this village. So this is sort of the source of the mold, which is causing all these like mutations.
So I'm trying to keep this guy stun locked by shooting on his back. And I want to reload before my magazine is empty, and I've missed the spot a couple times. Okay, we got it. That was actually a really good fight, aside from getting hit the first time.
That was really good, really good.
But yeah, you want to keep him stun locked so that he doesn't move around on you more than anything else. He's not, I mean, the damage he does is pretty inconsequential on New Game Plus, but if you let him get up and move around, he's going to cost you a bunch of time. So you want to keep him downed and keep aiming at his back the whole time to keep him where you want, so you can go through that fight really quickly. So you saw, I mean, aside from getting hit right as he came down, that was pretty much optimal. That's about as good as it gets. Unfortunately, I did get an optimal fight in my PB, so I lost 1.3 seconds compared to my PB.
1.3.
1.3. Yeah, that's how tight the timing gets on runs like this. So this is the end of the Chris section, and we're going into the final boss fight coming up very, very shortly, actually.
Yes, we're gonna shoot. We're gonna. Oh, he skipped it.
So in that cutscene, we met Mia, like the real Mia, not the fake Mia that we saw in Miranda before. Now this, you can actually move around here, but you're just on a timer and you have to sit through this part. Initially, we thought you had to walk forward in order to trigger the next cutscene, but it's entirely a timer, so we just have to literally sit here and wait.
I still thought that until you just said it right now, so...
I told you this when you were running it still, and you said, oh, really? I didn't know that. And then I think you forgot, and so you remembered what I told you just now.
Brain is small. I run too many games. I can't remember
too many
everything.
things. So the Duke found us. He rescued us. And now we are headed off to fight Miranda, the final boss of the game. And this fight's going to go pretty quickly. This is actually one of the cases where using the stake entirely the whole time is actually slower than using the assault rifle for part of the fight. So I'm going to fire 13 times with the stake, and then I'm going to get out the assault rifle, and I'm just going to start pumping her full of bullets until the fight's over. You can lose actually a pretty significant, you can lose upwards of 10 seconds just during the final phase with the stake as opposed to using the assault rifle.
And I think the reason for that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the reason for that is because once you get into that final phase part, it's kind of like a QTE, like not exactly, but like a half QTE, and it's counting the number of times Miranda gets hit,
13.
not the actual damage points.
Yeah. And by the way, she has one hitbox. She has no headshot damage. Her entire hitbox is one giant hitbox. So you can shoot her literally in the foot or the head and you'll do the same amount of damage. It's very dumb. So all I have to do is just hold down left click and then aim my shot in the right spot and the fight's over. So the fight's coming, time's coming up in just a second. I'll let you know as soon as we're finished with these QTEs. And time.
Hey, nice.
Nice.
GG's. So my PB is a 130.58, and my live split is telling me that was a 134.47. So that tells you just how much time you can lose on all of these individual little splits over the course of the run. It is very, very tightly refined as a run and as a category. But I hope you all enjoyed it. I know this is not what normal Doom content looks like, but this was a good chance to kind of show you what else is out there, and I hope you all enjoyed watching it. I have to give a shout out to my two members of the couch and two fellow hosts for the event, Mr. Meta Live and Mr. ThatGuyBlain. Thank you both for couching for the run. I appreciate you both willing to step in and do that. Oh, and Rose is fine. She's back. Rose is okay. We took the flasks, we put them back together, and then we brought her back to life. You love to see it. Love to
Science!
See it. Because that's how science works. Yeah, there's a whole little bit of this cutscene here. By the way, Ethan's face is never revealed. They actually programmed him to have a face, but they never reveal it at any point in either RE7 or RE8, so they keep his head hidden the whole time, very weirdly enough. Remember that we still are raising money throughout the whole marathon for Save the Children Ukraine. Sorry, Meta, were you saying something?
What's that?
Were you about to say something? I think I cut you off.
I think that was Blaine.
Oh.
I was just gonna say, even with the brightness cranked up, you could see Ethan's face, but it has like no expressions programmed onto it.
That's funny. But yeah, we are still collecting donations throughout the rest of the event, so be sure to get your donations in. You have not heard the last of me. I will be back later this evening near the end of the marathon to close this all out and wrap everything up, so I will be back then. Keep an eye out for the rest of the runs that we have going on. We've got some other really awesome runs queued up for you, especially the one directly after this, which is the Game Boy Advance port of Ultimate Doom, and I am like super looking forward to that run because it's going to be like hilarious to watch, so be sure you tune in for that. Did you guys have any shout outs you wanted to give?
Nope. If you want to run Resident Evil Village, there is a speedrun.com leaderboard where you can join the Discord. There is a bunch of resources in order to learn this game.
There are so many resources.
Especially with Glitchless, it's very accessible and it's a fun run. So yeah, if you want to learn it, definitely check that out.
Yeah. Blaine?
Yeah. And if you want to learn Resident Evil 7 because it's better, do that too.
Same process. Yeah.
Exact same process. The Resident Evil speedrunning community really looks after newcomers and will help you out. And there's lots of setup guides and everything. And it's definitely worth giving a try. They're both fun games.
I do want to show everybody something a little bit here. So Village of Shadows was the storybook that was playing during the opening cutscene that we skipped. But look who it is.
It's Rose.
It's
wearing
funny.
Ethan's jacket.
The immediate moment I saw her, I was like, oh my god, that's Rose. Like it was an immediate connection. And during this cutscene, you actually find out that she has some pretty interesting powers. We're not going to watch the whole cutscene because it would take too long. It's a pretty long cutscene, but yeah, that's how we know that Rose might be the protag in the next edition of the RE franchise. So we'll see. Thank you all for watching. That's it for me. You'll see me back here at the end of the marathon. Thank you all, and have fun for the following runs coming up.
Later.